kind of recognized that these exist, but didn't tie the two. Basically, it just said that the ordinance basically just says any facility in the city, we don't allow consumption. So the ordinance that's presenting to you is basically trying to tighten that language up.
Right, and it specifically prohibits these special licenses, which are now allowed pursuant to state law.
So, tagging along with the we don't want to get sued, even though the state allows it, we have the ability to say not here.
That's right, you have the
Okay.
ability to decide which types of licenses you allow in your city,
Okay.
across the board.
When you say facilities, are these just the marijuana facilities, or could the boiler decide, I want to throw a smoke fest and have a party in my parking lot?
Right, so these
What
are
we
different
talking
types
about?
of licenses.
Yeah.
So, see the different types of licenses listed here under special licenses. So, a designated consumption establishment is a specific type of license that they'd have to go get from the state and then get permission from you to use here in your city. Again, like a smoking room. And then the rest are pretty self-explanatory. Event organizers, that's like the hash bash type of thing, and also special events, so temporary marijuana events. So these come in all different flavors, so to speak, but they're temporary licenses that you can get from the state if the local municipality permits it.
But you don't have to have an existing, I think that's your question, right? You don't have to have an existing marijuana license to say,
To get one.
yeah, I want a special event permit
Right,
for Chimera Design.
because even at the Sizzling Summer Concert, every once in a while, you'll get a puff of something or smell of something, so what do? Do you restrict that down there as well, too?
Technically,
It should already be
it gets
restricted if it's a city
Yeah.
park, because it's a city park.
Right.
Well, listen, it's not me, I don't know why you're looking at me.
I didn't say you, I just.
I know those eyes.
I think it's nice that the state's allowing this since they've been having the hash bash in Ann Arbor since I was a boy. Sorry. I
So
like,
again, this is just a policy decision that you have to make. You
I-
can always change your mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I always assumed it was
I'm
that.
all in favor. The inability of our police department to, I mean, if we're gonna continue with the alcohol pot thing, you gotta be over 25, you're not supposed to drive stoned. How do you, there's
yeah.
no quick test like a alcohol thing, so, yeah.
The problem is, there's been minimal problems with the way it is right now.
Right.
People go and they grab their stuff, and they're in and out of there, and these businesses are thriving on the turnover. Now you're talking about sitting in a room for 20 minutes, and then probably taking a nap for a half hour. It's gonna cut into profit significantly, because you don't have turnover. It's the same at a restaurant, they don't want you sitting there talking about your day. They want you to eat your wings and go, right? So, I'd always
Yeah.
assumed that that was already in our ordinance.
I'd make the motion to approve ordinance 21-05.
I'd support. Any other discussion? Sue?
Councilmember Groves.
Yes.
Mayor DeVore.
Yes.
Councilmember Salzweedl.
Yes.
Councilmember Yankovic.
Yes.
And Councilmember Chambers.
Yes.
Your turn. Yep. You gotta follow all that. and then just- Here, I have an iPad if you want this.
Yes, I'm just looking at it. Mine I get them. I came ill prepared.
All right, next item, Historical Museum Millage Renewal.
Hi, I'm Lisa Plank. I'm the Executive Director of the Lowell Area Historical Museum here on Main Street. And we have had the fortunate support of the community for the past 20 years to have a dedicated millage through the city of Lowell that helps to support the operations of the museum. And we are up for renewal on that. Our current millage runs through June of 2023, and so we are asking to be on the ballot this November to get that paperwork all in place so that we can put it to the voters of Lowell. We're asking for just a renewal, no increase. So this is the same millage that city residents have been paying for the past 20 years. And it's a great support to the museum and helps us provide the services to the community and our visitors that we do.
And it's worth every penny. It is.
Can you tell us what portion of your operating budget you get from the millage,
Yeah, so the millage
roughly?
varies from year to year depending on the programming and exhibits we're doing, but it's roughly a fifth of our budget.
Okay.
The rest we achieve through attendance and memberships and fundraising. We do a lot of grant writing. We do a lot of fundraisers. We're at the summer concert every Thursday selling hamburgers and things like that. Fallisburg Festival. So we have a pretty diverse funding stream, which is great for a nonprofit organization. But this is definitely a solid piece of it for us that we do appreciate. Yeah, and I'm happy to answer any other questions you guys may have about that.
I have one.
Sure, here.
So it's located in Lowell, but does either Virgins Township, Lowell Township participate in a millage?
They don't have a millage, they do have a dedicated line item that they contribute to the museum each year. Yeah.
Good to know.
Any other questions for Lisa?
No.
Just one, can we do something other than roasted chestnuts at,
What? You don't like our roasted chestnuts?
No.
All right, bring us an idea, we'll figure it out.
You volunteer?
no, Bruce does a good job.
I'll recommend that we approve resolution 921 for the historic museum to be on the ballot.
I will support.
Any other discussion? It's an easy one, Sue.
Mayor DeVore,
Yes.
Councilmember Salzweedl,
Yes.
Councilmember Yankovic,
Yes.
Councilmember Chambers,
Yes.
and Councilmember Groves.
Yes.
All right, resolution 1021, thank you, Lisa.
Thank you very much.
Resolution 1021 for downtown redevelopment liquor license for Brent.
We received a request from Brent Slagle from Rio Plano Tequiera LLC for consideration for a downtown redevelopment liquor license at 101 West Main. Currently, there is one of these licenses in the city at Big Boiler Brewing, also owned by Mr. Slagle. For those not familiar, downtown redevelopment liquor licenses are granted to downtown districts that meet a number of criteria, and those are in your packet. These licenses can be purchased for much less than in the open market. Actually, $20,000 is the amount. And if the approved establishment ceases operation, the license is non-transferable, meaning it goes back to the Michigan Liquor Control Commission, and then thus would have to be back approved by the city council for another person to use it. In order to be approved for these licenses, the assessor must swear to an affidavit that the qualified development district in the city or DDA district has had more than $200,000 in public and private improvements in the last 5 years, which we have, it's attached. The city council must also pass a resolution for consideration of a downtown redevelopment license, and the applicant must do a number of things, including verify there are no available liquor licenses in Kent County. I've attached resolution 10-21 for consideration. I'm recommending the Lowell City Council approve resolution 10-21 for a downtown redevelopment liquor license to Rio Plano Tequiera at 101 West Main.
Mike, are we restricted to the number of these types of liquor licenses we can have?
I thought there was a number based on your population.
It has to do with the amount of investment.
Investment, okay.
Yeah.
So when King Millie did that 10 million, we had all kinds of money, and we could have gotten all kinds of, that's why I remember.
That's right.
Yeah, I always thought, I mean, I could be wrong, but my understanding was it was part of, like, you only get like maybe 5, or it's based on your, the license are based on how many. My understanding was that they were based on your population played a role as to how many licenses you could get. Was the way it was, at least that's how it was when I was in my
For
career.
liquor licenses?
No, for the downtown.
Downtown, different one, yeah.
So,
My understanding is that it's level of investment, but.
okay. Yeah, I could be, like I
That
said,
being
it's been,
said, you're not running up against it.
right, it's
so
been 7,
we have
7,
a
8
lot
years
more
since I.
to issue if you want.
And Brent's done a fantastic job.
Yeah, I don't have a
Superior
problem with
building,
him getting a second
Big
license.
boiler,
Yeah.
and this is for, what's 101,
The old Lowell Club.
Lowell Club?
Yeah, yeah, I just want to make sure that if somebody else came along and wanted this, that we.
Yeah, I think we can,
as well.
yeah, I think we
That's
can.
all.
Huge investment there downtown, I would imagine. would be-
200,000
Yeah, just right there.
Yeah.
Here.
Oh, the-
Just in windows.
in a few of them.
Or,
Yeah.
it was like $23 million when I compiled all the public and private investment in the DDA district. It was a lot of money.
Wow. That's That's awesome. I make a resolution, motion to approve this.
I'll support. Oh, yeah, that's easy. Any other discussion? Sue?
Councilmember Salzweedl?
Yes.
Councilmember Yankovic?
Yes.
Councilmember Chambers?
Yes.
Councilmember Groves?
Yes.
And Mayor DeBoer?
Yes. Next one is 21-06, rezone parcels 746 and 728 West Main.
At its meeting of June 14, 2021, the Planning Commission reviewed a request from Benton Baker to rezone 746 West Main and 728 West Main. Currently, there are 3 zoning districts split between the 2 parcels. The parcel at 746 West Main contains the C3 General Business District and R2 Single and 2 Family Residential District. The parcel at 728 West Main is located in the I General Industrial District. The applicant is requesting that both properties be rezoned so that they are all completely within the C3 General Business District, because this is the only district in which open-air businesses, such as car dealerships, are permitted by special land use. It is recommended that the Lowell City Council accept the recommendation of the Planning Commission and approve ordinance 21-06.
Yeah, so when they came to us, basically they're gonna flip-flop. The dealership will now be on the other side of the road. The body shop will be where the dealership is now. I don't have to play Frogger trying to cross M21 anymore. The lot, it's really, the way it was set up, this just cleans that whole area up. We did have an individual that lives there, voice some concern, and after we said, well, it's gonna be just like the other one, and we addressed the fence and everything else, and he was really good with it. So there's a little bit of the property that's in the floodplain, but it's not even gonna be used. And it runs right along the little creek down there, so.
You're gonna make it as nice as the other one?
Yeah, and then it'll mirror the other one.
Yep.
It's different brands.
So you don't want that.
And please save us a spot that we can donate a tree to you for the arbor board. We're always looking for a good place to put a tree. That would be a great place to save us a spot.
I'll be happy.
Right, Dan?
You bet.
Is that what you're selling your vote for?
No, my
That was
vote is not for,
implication,
my
Jim.
vote is not for
Well, hold
sale.
on, what kind of tree? Like an oak? They'll be there forever?
I don't know. No, we
The
got
Jim Sullivan.
restrictions of what we can afford to give away. We have a restricted budget, unless you're willing to up that up tonight, we can bring it on the agenda for.
Anyways, motion for ordinance 21-06 for Ben Baker.
I'll
I
make
will
that.
make that.
I'll support.
All right, good. Any other discussion? Sue?
Councilmember Yankovic?
Yes.
Councilmember Chambers?
Yes.
Councilmember Groves?
Yes.
Mayor DeBoer?
Yes.
And Councilmember Salzweedl?
Yes.
All right, another parking lot closure for King Milling.
We received a request from King Milling for a partial parking lot closure. They are doing restoration and renovation of the McQueen building and would like the western end of the Broadway parking lot closed so the construction crews can work safely. This would affect 11 spaces, and the time of the closure is during normal working hours, Monday through Friday. They will reopen those spaces on the weekends. Their plan is to begin construction today, and from what they tell me, they'll believe they will need until December to keep these spaces closed. I'm recommending the Lowell City Council approve a partial parking lot closure of the Broadway parking lot for King Milling during normal working hours from June 2021 to December 31st, 2021.
Yeah, I drove by there today and I was pretty impressed with, Steve, how tight them guys were keeping up to the building and not trying to go past those parking spots. So they got it barricaded off. You can still get in and out of that driveway. I watch people go in and out all day, so I think the contractors there, they know that that's a public parking, and I thought they did a good job.
King Milling always does a good job of thinking about that kind of stuff. They do a lot over there, and you wouldn't know it because they don't disrupt anything.
And it's nice to see construction on that McQueen building, so I can't wait to see it done, because I've seen the rendering of what it's going to be, so it should be spectacular.
Recommendation to approve King Milling's parking lot closure.
I'll make that motion.
I'll support.
Any other discussion? Sue?
Councilmember Chambers,
Yes.
Councilmember Groves,
Yes.
Mayor DeVore,
Yes.
Councilmember Salzweedl,
Yes.
and Councilmember Yankovic.
Yes.
Last one, Protect membership, Mike.
This is our annual membership for Protect, the Coalition to Protect Public Rights of Ways. Protect has been an organization for 25 years. Purpose is to take the lead to coordinate actions to protect local government interests and to inform municipal officials of significant developments in the area of public right-of-way management. In the past, they've been actively involved in issues pertaining to placement of cable boxes and other utility objects on the right-of-way. They have also been involved in protecting PEC channels and the fees associated with them. This group is currently involved in the fight regarding small cell DAS legislation that I've mentioned previously. Total cost, $472.88. This is the same it's been for the last 3 years we've been with them. I'm recommending the Lowell City Council approve the city's membership in Protect.
And you did have this in your book, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, this will be our 4th year, right?
Yeah.
With Protect?
Third or fourth, yeah.
All right, I'll recommend we approve our membership in Protect for another year.
I'll support.
Discussion? Sue?
Councilmember Groves,
Yes.
Mayor DeVore,
Yes.
Councilmember Salzweedl,
Yes.
Councilmember Yankovic,
Yes.
Councilmember Chambers.
Yes.
All right, board and commission reports, Leah.
Chambers, we had Expo, which seemed to go fantastic. It is nice to see the city alive, whether it's the weather, summertime, showboat, whatever it is. It is nice to see everybody together. It's nice to, when you first move here and you see the city alive and then COVID hits and it kind of slows down, you wonder like, will it ever pick up? And it's picked up, so that's fantastic to see. Parks and Rec, we unfortunately did not have a quorum, so we will regroup next month and I'll have something for you.
That's a quick meeting. Marty?
Well, everything we just went through was my meeting. I have
Can you recap it for us, Marty?
Sure. That Baker's gonna get a thing we passed, well, we approved to pass along a resolution, so there's your Reader Digest version.
Jim?
Well, I missed the Lowell Light and Power Board meeting, thinking it was Thursday night, and they had moved it to Wednesday, and it's my fault for not looking at the date. But I did call in Thursday night, ready for it. Nobody was there. So, with that, I did meet with Charlie the next morning, and he talked about a new solar agreement that the board is working on and is signed. I think it starts in 2023. It's very exciting. On that part, I think we're getting the energy from 2 facilities, if I remember correctly, Perry. So that was good. Another thing he wanted me to mention is a few years back, they came around and changed out meters to most of the homes. They are down to 20 meters. Those people still want to opt out of having that old meter at this point, so just letting them know, in a couple of months, they'll be paying for that service to have their meter read. It's gonna cost them $10 a month, $120 a year, so they still got some time to save $120, which is maybe 2 months worth of energy bills, maybe a month and a half, so anyways, that's something that is continuing, so a lot of things happening over there. Yes, Perry?
Just quickly mention on that, we those that chose not to use an automated meter, AMI, everybody else, all of our other ratepayers end up subsidizing those that chose not to. And we have said, to be fair, other ratepayers should not be subsidizing them. So that's why we've gone to having a fee if you choose not to. If you're on the AMI, your power goes out, our linemen get a immediate dispatch. So anybody that's on the AMI, they don't even have to call in. We've had people in the middle of the night power go out, and we have it back on, and they never even realized that their power was out until they woke up and saw the clock flashing at them. So it's advantage to be on the AMI.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Barry.
That's it?
Cliff?
I have nothing.
I do. Fire Authority, Matt. We talked about our loop vendor facilitation and threw around the idea of a huge facilitation. Our board, township board, Virgin's board, all would probably probably multiple facilitators for a group that size. We didn't do any dates, we just talked about how we wanted to go, and, you know, the challenge is gonna be getting 30 schedules to align for one meeting. The bids were received for the new fire engine. Spencer had the winning bid, and we're looking at about a 400-day build, and then our first payment won't be due until 2023. And then they're gonna start, the fire department's gonna start running priority 3 medicals, where the chief complaint is a fall or a medical. They don't do it now, and it will just alleviate a huge drain on, and it's a taxpayer thing. I've always been confused as to why ambulances run to taxpayers who just need help out. You know what I mean? They're not subsidized by the taxes. So they're gonna start doing that. It shouldn't be a huge increase in call volumes, but saving the ambulance from having to go to a metal arm mat is just because somebody rolled over and hit their butt. And that's it for the fire authority. Mike, oh no, budget report. Any questions on the budget report?
Yeah, I mean, the amendments were pretty much the budget report, so.
Any questions on the monthly reports? Mike, city manager report.
Okay, so a couple items. The Foreman project is moving along. We are in the process of putting the service lead connections in. Very, very strong possibility that all the sewer work will be completed by the end of the week, and they'll start the road restoration process. So we should hopefully in the next couple of weeks be complete with the project. From what I understand, they're getting a lot of the I&I out of there, and it's been quite significant the last couple of days as they've connected it. So there's
The I&I.
infiltration.
Okay.
That's the rainwater going into
Yes,
this.
okay.
So, the Jane Allen project is scheduled to begin July 7th, and the Amity project is scheduled to begin August 31st. We plan next week, we'll be sending out notices later this week to the residents impacted by those. We'll have the pre-construction meetings for them. We've had an issue with the library in the last couple of weeks. There's been some issues with the air conditioning. The way it was explained to me is that the air conditioning is, one of the units has reached its long life and cannot really operate anymore, and it's a $5,000 replacement that has to be done. Now, one of the issues is that we cannot get the part for about another 3.5 weeks. So in the event, so the way the air conditioning is set up right now at the library is the office area and the conference room have air conditioning, but the main library area doesn't. So they're fanning cold air from the air conditioned areas into the middle of the library. And when it's a day like today, that's not an issue. But when it's 90 degrees, they may have to shut the library down for the day. So that may happen in the next 3 weeks. Paul from Progressive is working on it, and hopefully the part can come in faster. But that was the notification he told me. We also completed last week. We completed the temperature control project in this building. We do have one thing we have to do. We have to fix a sensor on the control system, which is kind of swaying some of the temperatures in our offices. Like my office will be like 85 degrees, and up here it'll be 72 degrees. So the sensor will hopefully
I
fix
think
it.
we have that right.
Yeah. Sweat it out. Is there a line item for the library, like there is at the historical museum, that comes from the townships? Or do we just?
No, the only thing the only revenue we get like $11,000 from KDL and it's supposed to cover that.
So we put the bill for utilities and maintenance and property.
Everything.
But not just city residents use the library.
No.
And its services.
All residents in the KDL pay for the programming of the KDL. The municipality is responsible for the building. Now, some cities have dedicated millages. But yes,
That's not what I'm saying, is the historical museum is in the city, but it's not just used by city residents, so the townships chip in. That, the library is the exact same thing. I see people from the township in the library all the time. Now, when the AC's off, but when it's on, they're in there. I'm just wondering why we're footing the bill for the entire facility and maintenance and groundskeeping and water and electric and gas and.
I would imagine those residents are paying some form of tax for the library on their taxes. Unfortunately, we're not seeing that here. It probably goes to the
Oh, it goes to
general
the- yeah.
fund,
Or it
and then
goes
it
to
just gets.
KDL, and it goes to
Exactly.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I believe they're not scot-free
Yeah.
of not paying
And
something.
KDL sitting on a very happy fund balance too.
Yeah,
That is.
they got it.
We own the building, right?
Yes.
So they lease it. See, I was confused about that.
Right. We are responsible for the building, they handle, KDL handles the operations out of the building, we own the building. Everyone in the county who's serviced by the KDL pays into the KDL, but that doesn't necessarily mean that KDL money is going to actually cover the building.
Are you able to put together like a yearly cost, just at the city level, for everything at the library?
Very easily.
Can you do that for me?
Yes, what I would also recommend is we also show participation from the different jurisdictions. We've done that in the past.
Yeah,
but
that's usually in her report, right? When they do the
Yeah.
annual report. How
I
they used to.
can get it from the KDL.
It's interesting because I engaged in some messaging with a resident on this very subject, and he was complaining about the lack of air and all that kind of stuff, and I said, hey, we're trying to do what we can, and I also explained to him that it's frustrating for us as a city because we pay for everything, and the KDL's sitting on enough money to buy a lot of air conditioning parts, but we have to fix the driveway and the parking lot and all that stuff, so.
I don't mind stepping up. I think the library is
Oh,
fantastic.
yeah,
And KDL does that to every library in Kent County.
which is why the
But-
fund balance is,
But I'm saying we should be, the township should be helping, is the politically correct way
It
to
would
say
be
it.
nice.
This is
It would
very-
be nice.
This is very common statewide, how these library districts operate. I had the same instance in a former community, and it's the same issue, that the city's subsidizing the building. Everyone pays for the district library, but the neighboring jurisdictions are not paying for the building.
Yeah, but I've always felt like it's different here, because it's Lowell everywhere. You just have 3 governing bodies, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's different with everything else. Why isn't it different with the library, which is one of the most broadly utilized places demographically? You know what I mean? Just,
See your point?
it's always interested me why I don't have a problem doing it, you know what I mean? Because the library.
Right now, we don't have a choice.
Yeah.
So we have to take.
You can wait till winter if you want, but.
The time I've been on this board, this is not the first time for the heating and the air conditioning over there. And it is coming to its life's end, and that's gonna be a huge dollar amount to get it.
We just replaced it here, didn't we, for the same end of life?
We just did the temperature control upgrade yet. Continuing on, there's a couple more.
sorry.
It's fine. We did receive a request from New Union for an easement vacation. Jessica and I are reviewing it right now. If you recall, there's an undesignated street plat between where New Union is now and the property that they also own next to it. They are asking for an easement for us to vacate that undesignated street plat, so Jessica and I are reviewing that right now. I hope to bring that to your next meeting. Dan and I have met with the Showboat Garden Club about bridge boxes on the river. We're working on that on our end. We're going to just send it to the Historic Commission to make sure everything's in compliance there, and then we'll bring it to you. And I do have some good news. We did receive our MERS actuarial today. Our MERS actuarial total system-wide went up from 60% funded to 62% funded. The city's component went up from 60% funded, just the city's Division 10 went up from 60% to 64%. So we're making some small strides. The one crazy thing is, next year, we will have $5,000 less per month in required payments to MERS for our unfunded liability compared to this year. I'm going to have Mike Overly come from MERS to talk to you about it, but we are having that analysis done to extend the 5 years payment for the unfunded liability. So when that report is complete is when I'll have him come and speak to that and the actuarial.
Are we still on their watch list or whatever?
No, we are not. Nope. By us moving up, I mean, by the changes that we made to the pension system, closing the pan, bridging down, this year making the additional payment, on top of the fact MERS actually had a pretty good year investment-wise. We saw, and on top of it, our rate of return goes down on July 1st. We were still able to go up at least in the cities at 4%.
What do you do, invest in Pfizer and Moderna?
I believe so. Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. Well, I know that's a huge part of your day, so it's nice to see that.
I was pretty pleased when I saw that today. That's all I have.
A lot larger than we thought.
Yeah.
All right, any questions for Mike? All right, 2 appointments today. Yeah, Matthew Silverman for the Arbor Board, resident here since 2012, has a hobby farm, and he's excited about trees. So that's a good one, because that Arbor Board vacancy's been around for a while. And then Amanda Straubin, who we all know, for the LCTV Endowment Fund. And then she's available if any other vacancies come up. So if there are no objections to that, we'll appoint them. Council comments, Cliff.
Kind of a lingering from the Lowell Pride. It's my understanding that some other smaller communities are looking at our example and saying, hey, the world didn't come to an end in Lowell, let's try it in our town. And I think that's great especially for kids.
I agree. Jim?
I want to thank the DPW. I've been driving around and seeing them cleaning up parts of town, right at the end of Jackson Street. I mean, I know it dead ends and it didn't look that bad until they got out there and cleaned and took a lot of debris off that corner for snowplow to get around there. So great job, Dan. And during the river walk, they really were down there cleaning grooves out of the stuff out of the bricks and making it real nice for the gala. And so that was a really good turnout and again for a river walk. So thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
You're doing a great job.
Chambers.
Riverwalk was a lot of fun. It's fun when this town goes forward, and I don't really think COVID slowed us down all that much. I know it did to a point, but we've always moved forward. The fire department was doing chicken dinners and hot dogs, and the other food truck backed out. So Shannon stepped up and said, well, we got 200 chickens, and when they're gone, well, we got plenty of hot dogs, and they just kept motoring on. So, and the chicken was good. I actually tried to get Shannon to carry my lunch back down to the store. Yeah, and he handed it off to one of the other guys. So here, do it. But it was good to see everybody and the way that the community comes together. So whether it was your event, this event, or the next event, I just think Lowell's a great place that people really do come together.
Concert was off the charts. The first Sizzler. They were parking way down the row.
I've got 2 things. I believe it's Feeding America that has partnered with our library. So Monday through Friday at noon, they're handing out free lunches to kids. It's fantastic. I took my boys last week. It comes in a great little package. It's fantastic. There's a meat and snacks option, there's a vegetarian option, and then a dairy-free or nut-free option as well. So across the board, they're doing a fantastic job there. We ate right on the river walk, so I would highly recommend that. And then I just wanted to say thank you for showing up to all of you. I think it is fantastic when the citizens are involved and are paying attention, when people are invested in our city. I get very prideful about it, so thank you for being here.
All right, we can cover Pride and Expo, because those were both technically first-time events. Because the Expo is usually at the high school indoors, and you just set up tables in a square and you walk around for free pens. But this year it was outside and it was hot. But it was very well attended and very well organized, very well set up. And Pride was the same way. The first time they've ever done that. Didn't know how it was going to go. And it was hot. And I have a feeling Riverwalk's probably going to be the same way. It's nice to see people coming back outside. Jim?
That make a motion adjourn at 8:25.
Support. Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.
Jessica?